Imagine a place where every mechanic could go to, where everyone could build something, creating something so much bigger than a single person ever could. A place to connect, have fun at, explore, build, play, socialize, do anything together. And I'll come back to reality and realize this game really does not want to have service. But I tried anyway. You're probably thinking, how? How on earth did you make service for Scrap Mechanic? Obviously, I just could have written a dedicated server software or some peer-to-peer stuff. But if I really knew how to make that stuff, do you think I would be sitting here making silly YouTube videos? No, you're in here for much jankier, but also more entertaining, right? So let's start by revealing my grand master plan. First, get a Steam account. Second, run the game 24/7. Third, done, and fourth, profit. Simple, right? Well, on step 1 I already ended up violating Steam's community guidelines, but more on that later. Well, and running a game 24/7 that causes more crashes than my driving skills is a challenge of its own. Well, and then I might have skipped a step for now. We always worry about multiplayer later, right? I mean, how bad could it possibly be? Anyway, let's start our story at the beginning. I needed a Steam account. I already knew the right man for the job, so one night I went on Discord's dark theme and DM'd him. So, are you ready to meet him? The Steam account, not my friend. Adam. Yeah, I may have started a cult. Anyway, that fulfilled step 1 of my master plan. My friend even had a computer to spare, albeit in Australia. I know long-distance relationships don't really work, but I'm really trying my best with Adam. So all that was left to do was running the game 24/7. And oh boy, was that a journey. I had no idea how to code a program to keep the game running 24/7. You know, people think I know how to make mods and all these things, but the truth is I feel like an imposter that steals and borrows half of his code from Google. So figuring out how to automatically start the exe was pretty easy, but if you ever tried opening the Scrap Mechanic executable, you know that you can't without Steam. Eventually I figured out that you can use a link like this to open a game via Steam. You can actually try yourself. I'll put a link in the description. Then I simply put that link into a batch file which my program opens, which opens Steam, and lastly launches Scrap Mechanic. Not complicated at all. Now my little tool can restart Scrap Mechanic whenever it crashes, but there's one little problem. It restarts into the main menu, not the world I want to host. So I came up with the jankiest solution, literally making an auto-clicker that clicks through the whole menu every time it restarts the game. It was so difficult to do, like I barely understood the code my comrade Google gave me. And the worst thing was I could literally move the cursor above the button, but not click it. Scrap Mechanic was just like, nope. So I ended up doing the only reasonable thing, just copying OP auto-clicker into my tool and activating it with a hotkey every time. It is so goddamn janky, but it works. And later I figured out you can just use Steam launch options to load into the world directly. Welcome to programming! At least the other things went more smoothly. For example, I've added an automatic backup system. If you join the server later, you'll see a message in chat every 5 minutes. And it even starts loading older backups if the later ones have somehow been corrupted. Kind of a shame we don't have backups by default though. It's kinda easy to break your entire world in this game, you know? Not like I've done it before. And communicating between the game and my tool was easy. Just JSON files back and forth. Those JSONs really grew on me. You can put so much neatly organized data into them. Well, at least until you start building blueprints that are like 600,000 lines long. But that is for the next video. So stay subscribed! I actually didn't have that plugin script. Anyway, well, you might remember part 5 of my plan. If you ever played in multiplayer, you know how it usually ends. So how are we going to manage all the multiplayer stuff? It's time you meet another pivotal figure in the story. And what are you waiting for? Oh yeah, that's him, Questionable Mark, the legendary creator of OP tools. And he can also create alternate dimensions with his butt gun. Yeah, modders are crazy. And I am a modder. Well, he helped me to make our workshop mod. He basically coded everything. So let me show you the amazing job we made. First, Big Brother. Don't ask me why he looks so cursed. He's watching you, and if you betray Adam, we can use him to kick or ban you. How does kicking and banning work? Let that you ask. Yeah, it literally crashes your game. Hey, we're using the game's own weapons against it. So yeah, make sure you follow the rules. It's also in the best interest of your family. Next piece of modding goodness, the Creation Protector. Switches between capitalist and communist ideas of property. Basically, you slap this onto your creation, and then you can switch between your own capitalistic gain or contribute your creation to the people. When the Protector is active, you can't modify the creation or destroy it. You can still use it though, so lock your goddamn colors. Well, and if you turn it off, it's free real estate. Well, Well, and it turns out I went to the enormous effort of literally copy-pasting the dress spot into creative, so you can look like anything everywhere. Wanna be arrested for fashion crimes by wearing socks and sandals? It's all possible now! Garment box is not included. And lastly, there's the sunshake.
My strength is over 9,000. Sunshake, freely walk inside you.
Contains adrenaline and radiation, may cause superpowers. So yeah, even if you don't want to play on the server, you still get the ability to ban or kick people from your world, one world only, a creation protector, an easy to use fly tool, and a dress spot. Download the Scrap Mechanics Service mod today! Additionally, I've added some fancy commands for moderators to use later, like DMs, teleportations, and explosions! Sadly, the best command of them all is only for Adam. I'm talking about /yeet, of course. It yeets you into the 4th dimension, so Adam doesn't need to occupy his immortal soul with rendering your crap. It uses integrated graphics. But arguably the best thing I've added is the lag detector. Whenever Adam just can't handle things anymore, it gives us half a minute until self-destruction. Kinda dramatic, I know. But that makes it very effective at keeping people from blacking out the game. And the best thing is Adam is back up in less than a minute. He's such a beauty. I mean the software, not really Adam. I mean, since we had everything figured out, it was time to test the server. So I invited trustworthy members of my Discord to experience Adam. Of course, I also fixed countless little bugs and performance issues, but I'm not going to bore you with that. Instead, I want to show you some of the fun times we had on the test server. And remember, you could join Adam too.
Studio, your plane is bigger than every single building here combined.
Oh my god!
It's not even finished.
Hold
on, let me remove it.
Yeah.
Oh god, just get rid of her. I can't change restrictions.
Let's go.
God, Studio, what the heck?
What is the screen?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Is
my
the screen curved? I'm just gonna place a totally insuspicious toilet.
Ah yes, everyone fucking trolls you, man. What the Oh my god!
Oh bro.
Dude, you gotta clean this manually, man.
You see, you put your glow bug into the microwave if you are able to put it and not get weird collisions.
Yeah, maybe I just shower the glow bug and I need to like try it, yes.
And then you turn it on.
It's just a piece of shit on there. Why is there a piece of shit? Oh, I changed my textures.
Can we use Dr. Pixel as a fuel source for the furnace? Oh.
Oh god.
I got two humans as a fuel source.
Wait, how can we get out of this? Can someone help?
You can get...
Wait. So it's...
Pixel, look up. Let's just keep this.
Fun memories. Well, but as you see, the video isn't over yet. This was just the beginning. You know what eventually happens when people are allowed to eat everything onto the server? We basically created a giant garbage dump. Eventually it's going to reach a point where just spawning in one simple car is going to lag out the game. The whole dream of creating this place where mechanics could build creations for the whole world to see is just gone. The game just wasn't meant for this. All the work I put into realizing the vision I set out on for nothing. Sorry for all the over-dramatization, but I really wanted to put in that sad music. And well, I really felt a little down during that time, but I wouldn't have made this video if I hadn't found a solution. I knew I had to automatically clear the world. There was just no other way the world wouldn't lag out. Unless we use Physics 1 with lots of restrictions on building, but I don't think that's what people really want. On the other hand, you would have to start over and over again. But that gave me an idea. What if the world wasn't empty? For example, a terrain world isn't really any laggier than a flat world. So what if we use a custom world? Of course I could just grab a bunch of amazing tiles from the workshop, and that's exactly what I did for testing. I spammed my entire world with complex tiles, custom assets, and all that fancy stuff that took minutes to download, and surprisingly it ran fine. I even spawned in 5 of my arcade games, literally games inside the game, and 20 cars, and it still ran fine. At this point I knew what the server would be like. You see, with the tile builder we could literally build anything. It's a full-fledged 3D world builder that even allows for custom assets. We could build the biggest, most intricate scrap mechanic world ever, because finally there's a purpose for such a world. We could have a giant city to explore, roleplay and race, even build our own racetrack, or just have relaxing places to hang out. A giant utopia for every mechanic. The potential was huge, unlike my tile building skills. So I asked everywhere for people willing to help design that world. It took a while, but the team slowly grew. We settled on a concept for the world, and then everything went absolutely smooth with no problems at all. Well, I don't know what I was thinking, putting in all that hard work to build a huge, intricate and highly detailed world when we could just borrow tiles from the workshop. First of all, only Dartfrog and Cowboys were an active help, aka they did almost everything, but over the course of 3 weeks we only got a big ass mountain and a bunch of rivers. How could I just forget old programmer wisdom? Ctrl-C, Ctrl-V, and you see, it's f***ing ours now. And some of the tiles out there are just absolutely amazing. Like, I don't think we could have done such a stunning and varied map on our own. And not nearly as fast as literally Steve sharing them. Even had to redo part of the script because of this. Anyway, back to the part I didn't have to redo. I don't want to spoil too much of the tiles for you, since you can just join Adam and explore for yourself. Nonetheless, I just have to show you some of the most amazing ones. So now we are finally done with the server, right? Right? Suffering probably never ends. Well, you remember multiplayer, my old friend? So it all started when we were arguing what physics level Adam should be on. Obviously, advanced would easily end up in a laggy nightmare. Worst of all, even if my lag detector doesn't find any lag, there can still be some lag very noticeable in the stuttering when flying. So simple 7 seems like a good compromise. You know, less calculating wasteful physics should mean more frames. Well, if the game's engine didn't slap a fat unit reverse card in our face, that would be the case. And if you think the game engine couldn't get any worse, well, just spawning in one simple car, literally the crap I can build drops our frames by half. Now, I don't think I need to tell you that this is bad. Like, really bad. It just so happens that 90% of the stuff that people build in this game are cars. Unlike me. Why did I even buy this game? Anyway, if we lower the physics to 5, we do get our frames back, but at this point basically no car works anymore, so we can just straight up use physics 1. Wait, isn't that exactly what I tried to avoid? Well, I'm too far into this rabbit hole to let stupid physics stop me. Of course, I also have another janky solution in mind, but I of course over-engineered the crap out. You know, instead of fixing scrap mechanics broken physics, we just make our own. Like in one of those crappy Unity games where WASD just literally moves you in a straight line. Who even needs all these car parts like axes, moving parts, bearings and double wishbone suspensions? I don't understand any of that anyway. But what I do understand is spaghetti code. So how hard can it be to add creepy Unity WASD physics to scrap mechanic? 4-dimensional? Since I can't just teleport creations, I need to push them. A lot. Well, maybe not that much. So basically I want to turn cars into giant sleds. However, sleds need low friction. And maybe it's just me, but those wheels are looking kinda thick. So first I had to just casually reinvent the wheel. My idea is to have a wheel with normal friction that turns into a low friction RGB gamer wheel whenever you press WASD. But the RGB did not exactly improve performance. Maybe because of my crappy implementation. Anyway, just slap an engine onto my giant piece of ice and done, right? Well, turns out reinventing physics requires a lot of physics. Totally didn't see that one coming. So unless I want a slippery piece of ice, I need to counteract the friction. Didn't I already do that? Well, you see, with low friction, getting stuff to move is easy, but getting it to stop is really goddamn hard. So now we can do funny vector physics where we adjust our force to counteract the existing momentum. And by funny vector physics, I mean lots of complicated calculations which I ultimately ended up scrapping anyway, since I found the easiest solution to be to just apply two forces of equal strength in the opposite direction of the current movement and the direction I want to go to. So if the current momentum is in the direction I want to move to, both forces cancel out. But the further off they are, the stronger it steers in the right direction, resulting in perfect steering. In fact, so perfect I had to turn it down a little. Well, it would be perfect, wouldn't there be a small issue? Since I'm just applying the negative velocity as a force, it could be pointing upwards or downwards, but the engine is only supposed to apply thrust on a two-dimensional plane, so just project the 3D vector to the 2D plane, duh. Alright, how hard can that be? Why do you hear boss music? Quaternions are when Unity stop making sense to me. They are freaking 4-dimensional things that rotate vectors by stretching them in a 4-dimensional sphere and use numbers you can't even imagine. On the other hand, I can use transformation matrices, but honestly, my brain stopped working at 2D vectors. So that's a problem for Future Pixel. Instead, let me show you how to use the pinnacle of dwarven transportation. It's not the bathtub car, although it works in Physics 1. We build it like a normal car, just make sure the engine is on the main body. It doesn't even matter where. While you don't need bearings for the wheels, the suspension is still useful to avoid random bounciness and not get stopped by a 1-block incline. Then you just need to connect the wheels to the seat and the seat to the engine, and maybe at this point you should actually turn on the engine, but be careful since this thing get really powerful, just like a little 5-thruster, but on steroids. In fact, the engine will just blow up your entire car to protect you from getting yeeted into the void if you overdo it. And if you were to actually read the text, you would notice that the upgrade button will lead you to the advanced settings. Look at that fancy custom GUI that totally didn't waste many hours of my life. Now we can disable certain thrusters, which is useful if we want to adjust turning power independently from driving power. Why is there a grounded wheel option, you ask? Turns out I've had some flying issues with a car. It took me way too long to realize that there's a freaking thruster that of course also works in the air. Like a normal engine requires your wheels to touch the ground, because that's how it moves. So yeah, that said, I hope you like the new engine, not like you have a choice. I mean, it's the only thing that drives on physics 1, except for bathtub cars. So this only leaves you with one big question. Oh my god, how do I join already? I know you're thinking I'm just another YouTuber trying to squeeze the watch time out of you. And at least I'm being honest, but I also just wanted you to have that appreciation of all the work that went into making it possible for you to be with Adam. To just appreciate and understand the wonderful community we've hopefully created. So remember how I said I violated Steam's community guidelines? Well, first of all, the way of joining most people are familiar with are friend requests. Now, sadly, Steam limits the number of friends you can have, and you need to accept them manually too. But luckily, through a viewer that randomly joined my game once, I've discovered that you can use Steam group chats to join people without being friends. This is also the reason why I'm not in my own group chat. Steam is just stupid sometimes. Anyway, just go and create a Steam group with Adam and... well, so to use the amazing and definitely not broken Steam network, you need a verified account. How do you verify a Steam account? Spend $5 on the Steam store. After all, nothing is more trustworthy than capitalism. The problem is that Adam got Scrap Mechanic as a gift and didn't spend the $5 himself. But the Steam network is incredibly broken, and I just went the extra mile to mock all the features Adam isn't even supposed to have. So I've made a Steam group, let Adam join, and left the group. This Adam becoming the owner. Yeah, that's literally the only way to transfer ownership of a Steam group. I've told you the Steam network sucks, but since Adam was still a limited account, the whole group got yeeted out of existence for violating Steam's community guidelines. So I had to make the group myself, and then leave the group chat of course, so Adam is the only special user in the group chat. Honestly, I just really wanted to rant about the Steam network. The link to the group chat is in the description. Just join the group and hop into the group chat and you will be able to join Adam. But now there's one other thing I need to tell you about. And no, it's not a goddamn sponsor. You think they care about the pitiful view counts on my videos? Anyway, as you can imagine, this was a lot of work, and it's going to be a lot of work to maintain. Not only do we need to keep Adam running 24/7, but also keep the community alive and healthy. That's why I've made a Discord and a Patreon. The Discord is a place where you can connect with the community, voice chat with other people playing on the server, talk about Adam, or get in touch with us if you want to support the project. We can always use moderators to make the server a nicer place, tile builders to make the map even more awesome, modders to add more features to the mod, and if you can think of other ways to help, mod mail is always open for you. Well, and secondly, there's the Patreon for financial support. It costs a little bit to keep Adam running, but with more financial support we could make it sustainable, host a server in a better region than Australia, nothing against you Aussies, host multiple servers, make new kinds of servers like a dedicated building server, and beyond that, the sky's the limit. So yeah, it's kind of a plug after all. You know, I didn't think this was possible, but I always dreamed of such a place. After all, Minecraft would be nothing without servers. And now it just became reality. I've learned a lot. It took over a year of learning the ins and outs of this game to make this happen. But this is just the beginning. It's gonna be in the hands of you and your vision what this will become. And of course, how many of you are gonna support via Patreon, and maybe Axolot of course, but you get the point I'm trying to make here. It's all about you, because you got the love Adam so desperately needs. And if you're watching the premiere, there's going to be a live stream right away where we're going to open the server for the first time. And if you're watching this a little later, maybe have a look at the VOD, because it's going to be a very exciting moment, and probably also highly embarrassing.
I like that it hasn't even been an hour playing the server and we already have trapped someone up, we already burned someone to death, we already have crushed someone in a door, and we already have used burning people to create power. I wonder what the first 24 hours of the server launch gonna be like.